Hey there, it's LB. Today I want to share with you about 4 or 5 different fears that people have, and these fears really affect people subconsciously. Sometimes people don't even realize that they're having these fears. So, like one of the fears is a fear of getting old, and another fear would be the fear of death. Another fear is the fear of criticism, people criticizing you, and there's some more fears as well. I'll suddenly remember them as I'm talking here, but let me just share a little bit about these fears. You know, fear can be a good and a bad thing. So if you're about to walk over a cliff and your body gives you a sense of fear to step back, that's a good thing, right? Because fear is telling you, it's giving you an alert, right? But sometimes fear can paralyze you, and there's not actually any real danger, although you might think there is, maybe, right? And sometimes fear can seem real, but it's really not, just in your mind. And that's a dangerous kind of fear because it stops you. I mean, there's a verse in the Bible that says, like the lazy man won't even walk out of his house because he's afraid a lion's going to eat him, right? So, I mean, it's like, that's just paranoia. That's paranoia, right? It's just allowing your fear to control you. And you have to, especially when you're trying to achieve a dream, you can either let your fear, destroy it, or you can step out of your comfort zone. And by the way, stepping out of your comfort zone means confronting a little bit of your fear. Your comfort zone is where you're happy, where everything seems to be good, doing really great. And when you step out of your comfort zone, that suddenly means that you don't know what to expect. You don't know what's out there. And that puts you in a little bit of the realm of fear, right? Because you don't know what to expect. People like to stay in their comfort zone because they know what to expect, right? So there's a saying that says, fear will destroy your dream, or your dream will destroy your fear, right? So you can turn it around. Instead of letting fear destroy your dream to stop you from doing something amazing, a lot of times people will not do something, use their potential, because of the paranoia, because of they're afraid to step out, go out their comfort zone. And so that's the fear destroying your dream. On the other side of it is if you turn it around, let your dream destroy your fear, then you've taken control. Now, what I like to do is I can encourage people, if they have any fear about something, is to face it, right? So let's say that you have a fear of something. Well, a lot of times, if that fear is really true, let's say you were stepping near a cliff, all right? The first thing is you have to have some proof that fear is true. Okay, so stepping a little bit closer just to look and see if there really is a cliff would be a wise idea. Not stepping too far, but just stepping a little bit forward. And then looking, right? Okay, if you kind of get what I'm saying here. So when you step out, you are facing it to see if it's really true. I'm a sailor, and I love sailing out in the ocean, and I've been out in 35 storms. And my dream was to sail around the world. And in doing that, achieving that, I had to face my fear of going out in stormy weather, just so I could get good at dealing with the ocean, because you don't want to take on the ocean for the first time when there's a really bad storm. You want to go out in bad weather when it's not so bad and learn how to handle it one step at a time. And so that's what I did. I would go out in weather that was what was called a Stormcraft advisory, and I would go out from point A to point B and just see how bad it was. And if during that time I got to point A to point B, and by the way, point A and point B were small steps, okay? I'm not talking about, point A being one side of the ocean and point B being the other side. I'm talking about point A being the place where you have your boat docked, and then just point B being the first hurdle, maybe like just going to the end of the harbor where you can take your boat out to sea, right? So just taking it out one step, just to see how bad the weather really is inside the harbor. So that's what I would do. I would go out in my boat and see how bad the weather was. If it was too crazy, I would come back, right? And 9 out of 10 times, I'm for real, even though there was a storm coming, the storm had not got anywhere near to what my imagination had thought it was. And I was able to go out into the harbor and realize that the weather was okay. It was doable. I was able to do it. And most likely I was going to be able to go out into the ocean for another hour or two before anything else came up that was worse. Now, was it still a challenge during those conditions? Yeah. But it wasn't like my fear was telling me, like, scared of sinking and all this other stuff, right? So 9 out of 10 times the fear in my mind was 10 times more than what the reality of the fear actually was. And that's the point, is you want to step one step at a time. If you realize that the fear is equal to what you're talking about, then you want to turn around. And if it's getting close to it, you probably want to turn around too, right? But like I told you, 9 out of 10 times, it was nothing like what my imagination was telling me. In fact, it was very dealable. I could go out without any problems, and I actually came back having learned something. Instead of the wind being maybe 10 to 15 miles an hour, like on a normal sunny day, it was maybe 15 to 20, right? Which meant that I had to get better and learn how to deal with a little bit more wind than normal, right? And sometimes 20 to 30, which meant I needed to learn some more skills, right? And the more I went out and I dealt with the weather, the more I got better and better. And just to let you know, if you're a sailor too, it's not a bad idea to have somebody along with you, especially if they're experienced, right? Because that helps you just in case you make a mistake. But like, I did actually get into a really bad storm one time, and I'm glad I had someone along with me who knew what they were doing. And that was of course a little bit more than what I'm talking about. We were actually going not from just point A and my dock to the end of the harbor. We were actually going to an island across the way, and so there was a lot more risk involved, and I'm glad I brought someone along with me. So anyway, I hope what I'm sharing with you makes some sense. Okay, a lot of these fears, fear of death, fear of getting old, fear of criticism, these things can paralyze us and stop us from moving forward. A lot of these fears are real. The fear of old age is a real fear. We are going to really get old, and we are going to die someday, right? But learning how to deal with them and actually come to terms with them is really important. Fear of criticism, you're always going to have people who don't like you. You're always going to have people that don't appreciate you, that treat you wrong, that criticize you. But you can also see the other side of it. Sometimes people, they do care about you and they say something in order to help you grow. So it's important to not mix those two up, right? And to learn how to be a little bit teachable. And that's something I'm still working on myself. Okay? So these are the fears. You don't want to let fear, you want to let fear warn you, but you don't want to let it paralyze you. You want to make sure that to see if the fear is equal to what you're really fearful of. A lot of times it's really not. And use it to for good. Don't let fear stop you, paralyze you from doing something constructive. Okay? Anyway, I hope this helps you. If you're near a cliff, don't let your fear help you by going backwards. Don't think that I'm trying to tell you to jump off a cliff. Let your fear be, let it help you, right? Whatever, if it's good fear, then take its warning. If it's just paranoia, then step forward and face it, and see what it's really made of. This is Albie. I hope you have a nice day. I hope you got to see the pretty colors of the trees. I'm out here in California, and we don't get a lot of fall trees in California. Most of the year round, we have evergreen trees, kind of like that. You can see these trees right here. And so it's kind of nice to see some fall leaves on the trees here. The temperature doesn't get very low here, usually around the upper 50s, during the 6 months of winter time, or so you could speak, around that area of time. We have about 6 months of summer hot weather and 6 months of just fair cool weather. So right now it's the cool weather time. And it's very nice because it's not too hot. During the summer it can be really very it's not a humid heat out here. It's more of a dry heat. But anyway, I'm just blabbing on now. You have a great day, and don't forget to connect back with me if you want to know anything more about learning how to change your life by earning online income for yourself. And I would love to help you step out of your comfort zone and take the first steps and know what those steps are, to actually helping you learn how to earn consistently for yourself, not having to work for an employer, and earn consistently your own income without having to learn the skills so you can leave your job and do something that you want to do and achieve the goals that you want to achieve. So if that's so, go ahead and just put my link into the browser. My link is Albie, ALBIE 360, and that's the number 360, not the word, albie360.com. And my email is sailing, like you go sailing on the ocean, with, like you go with someone, Albie, ALB as in boy, ALBIE, sailing with Albie at gmail.com. Have a great day. Bye-bye.